Welcome to the Life of Dad Show. Visit us at lifeofdad.com. Here are your hosts, Tom Riles and Art Eddy.
So if you agree, have a drink with me, raise your glasses for a toast to a little bit.
Hey everybody, what's happening? Welcome to the Life of Dad Show. Tommy Riles here with Mr. March Madness, Arthur Eddy, Diaper Dandy, Upside Down, Finger Roll. Here you go. Take it away, Art.
Hey, what's going on, man? Yeah, tonight is the night, man. We're recording this Monday in the afternoon, my time, Monday morning, your time. UNC, my Tar Heels, are going against Villanova, the Wildcats, and it all comes down to this, man. It's a very March Madness type of show this week for us, right?
Yeah, man. Dude, I knew you were a UNC fan, but for some reason, we were chatting for a couple minutes before the show. I didn't even cross my mind that this is such a big day for you. Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Thank you very much, man.
You must be super pumped.
Yeah, can't wait to watch the game. I watched the Final Four on Saturday 2 nights ago, and it was cool to see UNC won. The first game was just like Villanova, who got trounced by Oklahoma and during the regular season, did a complete 180 and just beat the Sooners pretty well. So it was weird to watch that game. And then the Tar Heels beat Syracuse, not by as big as the score as Villanova did, but it was still an awesome game.
You know the backstory on Villanova, though, right?
What's that?
I got accepted there.
Oh, I did.
When I was 17, yeah.
Okay.
That's the story everyone's talking about.
Now, that was for baseball. You got like this big scholarship for baseball, right? But you're like, no, I'm sorry, I can't go there.
Totally. What happened was I took off my sophomore, junior, and senior years of playing baseball in high school, just preparing for Villanova baseball. And I made it. I got the scholarship and all that. And then I just didn't go. So, yeah. Because I'm a liar, Art. I made all that up. No, I did apply to Villanova in college, and I got accepted, and I wanted to go, but it was a little too pricey for our family. I'm not gonna lie, so I didn't end up going there. But Villanova's always had a soft spot in my heart.
Nice, man.
Although I'm not necessarily rooting for them tonight. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm gonna see it. I don't know if I'm gonna watch a game.
Well, I'm not even sure if I could trust you if you're saying you're pulling for UNC or Villanova, since you just said you were a liar. So
right, yeah.
Speaking of lying and joking around and all that, did your kids try and play any April Fool's pranks on you at all this past week?
They didn't pull any pranks because I don't. Barbara's 6. And I guess I should have thought, I didn't think ahead to like kind of plan something with her. Mm-hmm. But she definitely said the day after, she's like, yeah, yesterday was April Fool's Day. And I was like, oh yeah. But she's getting into like telling jokes, like just kind of but she likes like making them up on the spot. So she's like, Daddy, let's do some planet jokes. So this is last night, so it was April 3rd or whatever. And she just she doesn't even know where she's going with it, once she starts
Yep.
it. But she's like, why did Neptune leave the party early? And I'm like, why did Neptune leave the party early? Because he was cold. It's the coldest planet. So she comes up with the ones like that, which is awesome.
It's funny. They always say like dad jokes are great. They're puns and they're filled with puns and all that. But kids jokes, like my oldest Lily, she's 8. She always sees me as the guy that jokes around a lot in the family, and so she tries to make some jokes as well. And she'll be like, Daddy, like, was it 2 days ago? We're watching like The Force Awakens. She goes, Daddy, what's Darth Vader's favorite snack? I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, cookies. I'm like, huh? She goes, get it? Cookies. Like his voice. I was like, all right, cool, thanks. But like the first time she said it, she just said cookies, and I'm like, okay. And then my youngest Jordan will try and like chime in and make her own joke too. And then like sometimes they'll get ticked off at each other and be like, well, Jordan will be like, Lily, that's not funny.
That's awesome.
But the reason why I was asking about April Fools is because I told my daughters, like, oh, April 1st is tomorrow. And they're like, oh, it's April Fools. They were making like these, like either snowflakes or whatever. And in the morning, they'd be like, hey, Dad, what's on your shoulder? I'm like, what? It's like a snowflake. Oh, I'm like, oh, it's cold. And like, April Fools. I was like, all right. But that was just like their fun stuff. And then my wife and my daughters were out somewhere and they came back, and I was just like, I looked frustrated, and they're like, what happened? I'm like, the cats just ate the pie you made for us, Jessica. And she goes, really? We put foil on everything. I'm like, well, they got claws and they dug it in. I came downstairs and they were deep into eating the pie, and she was like, oh no. And they come in and they see the pie is like, it wasn't eaten. It was fine. Right. And I was like, April Fool's.
Bam.
And everyone's like, oh, Dad. And then like Lily tried to do another joke, like another April Fool's joke. We know what's coming, Lil.
Right. She feeds the pie to the cat. Got you guys. really did. Yeah, but you weren't supposed to really. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I like it. Nice joke, man.
Thanks.
It was fun resharing the one that you guys did last year on with Patrick's mom there.
Yeah, my brother-in-law texted me that one night when Patrick posted Patrick Quinn. He always has whole long April Fool's jokes with his parents, especially his mom. Go to Life of Dad and check out all the funny April Fool's jokes that Patrick has done on his family. But my brother-in-law texted me one night. He's like, I'm changing your name in my phone as Vincent Jackson now. Because that was the name that I used for the prank. I was like, sweet. And then people like I used to work with back when I was working in high school at a grocery store, they were like, I'm very pleased to say that I know Art Eddy. And they put a link to the April Fool's jokes. So
nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call you VJ as well. VJ. Over the Life of Dad show. I'm here with my host VJ Eddy. What's up, VJ?
What up?
All right. I think it's gonna stick. I think it's gonna
Probably
work.
not, but all right.
VJ. All right. We'll change your email address. VJ Eddy. If you guys have fan mail for VJ, send it in to VJEddy@lifeofdad.com. Check it out.
Nice.
VJ, we got a great guest on the show. Speaking of March Madness, and tell the people who you chatted with. I mean, literally one of the most historic college coaches of all time.
Yes,
Fantastic.
sir, man. It was really cool and an honor to talk with Jim Calhoun, former UConn men's basketball coach for the Huskies. Just if you think about just the basketball programs that they have there in general, with, of course, Jim Calhoun winning 3 titles for the men's division and then also Gene Auriemma for the women's. I mean, that is definitely like a title town USA for college sports, just on basketball alone. But yeah, it was really cool to talk with Jim Calhoun about this year's March Madness. We talked about, he was kind of breaking down the different teams and why there were so many upsets to a lot of people's brackets. And we talked about fatherhood, and he even gave props, and you'll find out in a second, to my dad for something he did, and it's a very grandpa-esque type of thing. He has 2 sons, and then he's got 6 grandkids. And he was talking about something about being a grandfather, because I asked him about like what's one thing better about being a grandfather than is being a dad, and he shared it with us, and then I shared something that my dad did, and he congratulated my dad for it.
That's awesome. I can't wait to hear it. All right, here is Art's interview with Jim Calhoun. VJ Eddy here on the Life of Dad show. On the line, we have Jim Calhoun. Just kidding. That was me doing VJ. All right, here is Art's interview with Jim Calhoun.
Hey, everybody, it's Art Eddy, and on the line, I'm very honored to have the one and only Coach Jim Calhoun. Thanks for taking the time to talk with me, Coach. How you doing, sir?
Good. I'm very well, thanks.
Let me just say, first off, everybody has seen your success over at UConn. Let's talk a little bit about March Madness. For me, I love watching the games, from the first set of games all the way to now that we're approaching the Final Four. But a lot of people's brackets were just destroyed, especially through like maybe Michigan State and Kentucky and all that. I feel like this year was definitely, there were a couple more upsets than usual. For you, what's your take on this year's tournament?
Yeah, working for ESPN, I saw 45 teams in person. Very simply, I'll be honest with you, a lot of really good teams, terrific teams, but there wasn't any great teams. So therefore, that tells me upset. They're close to a great team and still playing, and they make shots they probably are close to a great team. Is North Carolina. Everybody else, though, has incredible strengths and also some flaws, and yet they've been able to get by this because there's no overwhelming team in the field. And you know what? That makes it exciting. Now, if I have a really good team, it doesn't necessarily the upsets, but the upsets are really, you're right, a big part of March Madness, and I think it's great. I think it's great for basketball. I think it's great for everybody except for coaches who get upset. But most importantly, it's been an incredibly open field because because the one and dones and so many kids transferring and so much movement in college basketball, you don't have. Very unusual. You have a couple of them, but truly great teams that have been around together for 4 years.
Well said, and I just got to say, you kind of mentioned you're doing work for ESPN. I love the work you were doing for ESPN, especially when you were talking with Mike and Mike. Just as a side note, it was very interesting to get your perspective, and it's a great perspective, obviously, with so much knowledge and experience and history in college basketball. So I just got to say that was really entertaining and just educational for me as someone who's a fan of sports, especially college basketball. So it was really cool to hear you on that show. Also, too, you've coached so many players that went on to the NBA, and I know the biggest thing that I've seen from you and from other coaches is it's not just about winning championships, but it's actually the biggest thing for you guys is making sure you turn these kids into men and you help, shaping the way that they view the world and getting ready for the world.
Yeah, I think part of the analogy you're making is a great one. Winning a game is really hard. We won 17 Big East championships, and there was a lot of games and national championships. All those things are very difficult. But I'll tell you what, winning the game of life, a lot more difficult, a lot more unexpected things happen. And every day we take challenges. I'm sure that every single day in your life, you face challenges. And the more we can prepare you, not necessarily to solve every problem, but to face every problem and face it head on and make the adjustments you need to be. That's the single most important thing that you can do. Because those problems, we all know life. Someone once said to me, I had all these great plans until life got in the way. And it's a great deal of truth to that.
When you know that a player's going into the NBA, what is something that you tell them just to kind of maybe not watch out for, but just what is one of the number one pieces of advice you give them as they make their transition from college to the pros?
Yeah, and we always do have those kind of exit interviews as kids go in and tell them, be more prepared physically. So practice is never difficult for you. It always will be difficult, but if you're the most prepared, it's going to be less difficult for you. Secondly, make sure you're the first guy there and last guy to leave. Make sure they know how hungry you are. And third, whatever team, whatever organization, make sure you become part of it. The rest will take care of itself. You jump shot, you do all those other things. But if you are the first guy there, the last guy to leave, you're the guy that truly is a good positive influence in the locker room. If you try to understand all sides, your teammates and the coaches, those small things that we're talking about aren't small. They're incredibly large.
Nice. And now here we love to get everybody's take on fatherhood. For you, I know it's similar to coaching basketball. It's not as similar, but raising a family. But for you, what are some of the core values you look to instill into your kids as they were growing up?
Well, one of the great things is every day I went to school, every day I went to the university, I never went to work because I loved what I did. I wanted them to see that. And it was very important they saw the fact I love what I did, and I think it's really important. The greatest thing I ever did in my life was having two sons. And my wife and I talk a lot about that, and, hopefully I've become everything to them. Be a dad, be a coach, be it whoever it may be, and all those other different things. And I think the single most important thing is that you can have to them is not tell them what to do, but show them what to do. I think that, all of us talk a lot because you get paid for it, and now I do at times too. But most importantly, what do we show them? What do we show as a father? What kind of role model are we on an everyday basis? How do we, maintain ourselves every single day as we face life? And when I say face life, it's not an overwhelming challenge. It's an incredible opportunity. Every single day, it's something very special. And I try to talk to my kids about, Dad's going to be tough. Yeah. That's what makes it so special. I truly believe that. Every single day is an opportunity.
Nice. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And also, too, you're a grandfather. So what is one cool thing about being a grandfather over being a father?
Well, when I was a father, you remember the one thing I could do is I had it there, if they got sick, too much candy, whatever the case may be. Now I can cause all the problems and leave to get my two sons back for all the headaches they gave me. No, I love my sons are incredibly and close to me, with my wife, and my 6 grandkids now is like, it's like getting a mulligan. You get a chance to start all over again.
Nice. Yeah, it's funny. My dad, when he sometimes visits, I think he was having a cupcake for breakfast, and then I see my daughters following his lead. I'm like, wait, what's going on here?
You tell your dad I'm proud of him for having that cupcake in the morning.
Nice. And my last question, before we get into the Life of Dad Quick 5, what's one piece of advice you'd have for new dads listening to this?
Share every moment. It goes by too quickly. Share every single moment and look back and do great things. And I've been fortunate enough because not only do I have 2 great sons and 6 great grandkids, but I have teams every single year who are my kids. And so, but share every moment, treasure. They're very special, and don't take anything for granted. It's too wonderful at times.
Well said. Now I got the Life of Dad Quick 5. Did you guys have a favorite family movie when your kids were growing up?
My son, just about the time that Caddyshack came out, they could do Caddyshack, they could do Giant Dangerously, all the words from it, Stripes. My sons had movies together. They don't seem typical movies, but they really are to us because in those very, very funny comedic movies,
yeah.
If you think of it, it's a great deal of meaning to it. It's wonderful things, and we always kind of share them because we had a great time watching them.
Nice. Did you guys have a favorite song that maybe you and your wife would sing to the kids before they go to bed or dance to before they went to bed?
No, we didn't have necessarily a favorite song, but my kids all sing. Even now with our 6 grandkids come over, there's 5 girls and one young guy, Sam, and we get together and we do karaoke every time they're over the house. And whether you like it or not, we're still going to do karaoke.
Nice.
Now, once again, I can coach a little bit, and I can hit a golf ball decently, but I'm not a singer. I'm another kind of sharpshooter, but actually I got a little bit of hidden talent.
Nice, love that. Describe the perfect family vacation.
Well, we just took the kids to Disney, and we did the concierge service, and they took us around I'm telling you, when they were Harry Potter and other great things, it was to watch their faces. Absolutely very special for us. Really special.
Very cool. Last two are basketball related for you. Was one of the championships sweeter than the other two? I know it's kind of like almost like picking a favorite kid, but did you have one that was just meant maybe a little bit more than the other two?
I think the first one was very special because it had been so many years in the making. You know, it was coaching a high school team on a yellow bus and fake ankles and doing all those kind of things. And so it came to me about you finally got at least for this moment in time the top of your profession. Our team had got there. Very special.
Nice. And lastly, what was the first thing that popped into your head when it was a well-deserved call that you got when you were going to be inducted to the Basketball Hall of Fame?
Well, when I got that, I just couldn't believe it. I'd gone to school in Springfield, both undergrad and graduate degrees, and walked by the old Hall of Fame, looking at people I thought I'd never be able to get the honor to be there. And very special. And just thanked all my people who have associated my life and my players on down.
Awesome. Coach, again, it was an honor to talk with you, and continued success with everything you got going on in the future.
Thanks. Really appreciate it.
All right, you take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Art, awesome job, man. I love the little inside joke with the cupcake and your daddy-o, Art Sr., VJ Sr. Very cool. Art the second, right? Arthur, he's the second.
He's a junior, yeah. He's a junior. I'm the third, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, man. I mean, Jim Calhoun, giving props to my dad, Hall of Fame coach. Like grandparents, like just think about when I know we're kind of far removed from that just yet. We don't want to think about being a grandparent yet, but once we do, man, can you imagine just like all the fun we can have and being like Jim Calhoun said, like, getting back with my kids for all the, and he was joking with all the headaches they caused me back in the day, but I was like, yeah, that's gonna be great.
Wait, and then now this is all coming together because you created a meme soon thereafter, which was about cupcakes for breakfast. So did that all kind of come right after talking to Calhoun?
Yeah, because I was
about your dad.
Yeah, because it was about my dad. Yeah, and I was like, he was. Yeah, I think he was visiting when we were living in Jersey still. He visited us for one of my daughter's birthday parties, and in the morning I see him have a cup of coffee, and like I was like, "You want some fruit?" No. I'm like, "You want some cereal?" No. I'm gonna make you some eggs? No. And then all of a sudden he opens up the cupcakes that we had for the party yesterday, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm having a cupcake for breakfast." And my daughter's like, "Oh, sweet, can we have some?" And I'm like, "Wait, no."
That's awesome. Everything you've tried to teach your kids
just went down.
It's torn apart in that moment.
But the funny thing is, though, you think about like, oh, yeah, you can't have a cupcake for breakfast. But what is people have donuts or muffins for breakfast, right?
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, exactly.
It's a cake.
Exactly
it's a cake with some frosting, but a different type of frosting. But donuts are okay, but cupcakes aren't. My daughters are listening. I'm not saying you can have cupcakes for breakfast. I'm just saying that it's just kind of weird.
Totally. Donuts might be even less healthy than cake. I don't know. But donuts seem easily as unhealthy, right? Exactly. But then there's like sprinkles on top, and there's extra glaze, and like a donut's probably worse than a cupcake. I don't know.
I'm guessing that too, because especially they're deep fried.
Right. Yeah. Take a cake, you deep fry it, add some extra glaze, and that's a cupcake.
Yeah, and add some sprinkles, and then like whatever else they'll put on it. You know, it's like yeah.
Right. Dip it in syrup, and pour some chocolate syrup on top. Yeah. No, just this morning, my son asked for chocolate milk for breakfast. I was like, "Come on, man, we're going to school now. It's not time for chocolate milk.
Yeah.
Regular milk." Yeah, I come down hard like that.
Bring the hammer down.
That's right.
Your new nickname is Thor. You're Thor Daddy.
And Thor Daddy here. Welcome to the Life of Dad Show. Thor Daddy here with VJ Eddy the third. Yeah, you got it. It's all changing, man. Gotta mix it up. I like it. Cool, man. Well, excellent job with Coach Calhoun. Jim Calhoun, thank you so much for joining us and for the leadership you showed for years upon years there at UConn. Just incredible. By the way, I'm looking at the photo. I love the pictures of coaches cutting off nets after winning the whole thing. Yeah, right. And they're just on a regular looking ladder, but it says NCAA on the ladder. Just fantastic. Anyway, someone's going to be cutting up the net tonight. Hopefully it's your team there. Go North Carolina. Good luck. People listening already know the answer to that, but we do not yet. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week on The Life of Dad Show.
Thanks so much for listening to The Life of Dad Show. You know where to find us, lifeofdad.com, and on Twitter and Facebook.
Cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and a radio. Oh, light to see the sunrise, see the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of a precious child. No mother's love